Hello everyone and welcome to Hezro Forge. Actually, this is not Hezro Forge. This is my apartment because Hezro Forge is still being built. But this is what we refer to as the Plasma Dome. Today we're gonna play the Tyranids over here and the Space Marines from the Leviathan box. I will be behind the camera and I've invited two of my mates from OP Wargaming to join us in this battle report. Let's meet them.
Thank you, Jan, and thank you also to GW China for sending us Leviathan, this exciting box set from GW. I'm Michael, this is
Sam.
And we're both just so excited to get going with this today. Today I'm going to be commanding the forces of the Tyranids, and
Myself, I will be commanding the beautiful warriors of the Imperium of Man, the Space Marines.
and they've been painted by Jan. He's been painting like a madman recently, so you can see these beautiful models right here. Just feel so fortunate we get to do this, try out these models, play 10th edition.
Yes.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yes. Hello everyone. All right, so I'm going to now explain this beautiful Space Marine army painted in ultramarine colors. So over here, we've got two squads of 5 Infernus Marines. Their job is to kill small Tyranids. They will do it very well. I'm going to use them in Overwatch hopefully at least once this game, because that's a really cool thing we can do now. Over here, we've got some Stern Guard veterans. They have a lot of devastating wounds, so they actually have a surprising damage output against some of those bigger dudes, and also kill little dudes really well as well. Over here, we have a wonderfully named Apothecary Biologist. In this box set, kind of useless. Pretty good for holding a back point and just hiding, but I think in a regular 10th edition game, check this guy on with some aggressors or some other Gravis armor dudes could be really good. Over here we have a librarian in Terminator armor. He is he's got some psychic tricks. I can put him with the Terminator squad. He's quite decent melee. We'll see more of him later. Over here we have this incredible model. This is the new Lieutenant in Phobos armor. This guy is a badass, to put it simply. 5-up feel no pain, really good attacks against Tyranids in particular, which is kind of cool. And yeah, can't wait to throw him up there and infiltrate and do some damage. Over here we got a Terminator squad. Over here we got a little teleport Homer. I'll show you guys later a little trick you can do with that. These guys are great. They hit hard in melee, they shoot well, they're incredibly tough, they're amazing. They will be led by this guy. This is the captain, also in Terminator armor. Personally, I would say the coolest model in this box, which is saying a lot because that thing's incredible. But this guy, look at that, just an absolute masterpiece. He slaps like a champion, and he is the champion for these dudes. Last but not least, this model, when it was first previewed, looked a little bit awkward, but in person it's brilliant. This is the Ballistus Dreadnought. It shoots a lot. Simple as that.
Awesome, Sam. I'm a little bit intimidated, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Those Marines look pretty scary. But over here, we got some pretty scary looking bugs as well. So we're going to try and make a game of this. Number one bug for me is the Screamer Killer. He is just a beast. He's fast. He can shoot. He can force battle shock tests. He's really good in combat. If he goes down, my whole plan could be going down with him. So I need to try and keep him alive. Need to try and pick his fights. But he's awesome. Then I have the Psychophage. He wants to eat a Psycho really bad. He's anti-Psycho 2-up with his attacks. So if he can get into combat with the Librarian, we could see something really exciting. He also hands out other buffs to the bugs around him. The Tyranid Prime is our next guy. He's a character. In this box set, he can't attach with a unit. He can't lead any of the units in this box set. But he can fly. He's nimble, he can nip around, he can get objectives for me or score me secondaries, he can hold a back point. So there's plenty of utility he can still bring, even though he's not going to be bringing any utility to another unit. Then I have this guy. He's awesome. I call him Malamar because he reminds me of the Pokemon. He's like a brain bug. He's the Neurotyrant. He's the Neurotyrant. And if he's on the battlefield, when we do our Shadow in the Warp ability, he actually makes the other army be -1 to their battle shock tests. So he's really cool, really important to keep alive. He also comes with these 2 little markers. He can give units Synapse. Synapse is one of the Tyranids' abilities where they can get to roll additional dice on their battle shock tests if they're close to a Synapse model, but he can actually make that range infinite as long as they have one of those markers next to them for a turn, which is really, really good. Von Reinslieper's, another one of my favorite units, and I keep saying, oh, this is my favorite. They're really cool. They can infiltrate. You can also hide them and use them as kind of a countercharge threat, which is what I really like to do. They're lictors. I used to play lictors all the time when I played Tyranids, just single model lictors, just popping in. These guys are a unit of 3 now. Really, really like them. Little squad of Ripper Swarms. They're OC 0, so you might think that they're not much good, but actually they can affect the OC of your opposition's army if they come in nearby to them. And again, it's really, really useful in 10th edition we found to have these little units, I call them idiots, who can get out there and score your secondaries, and that's what I'm hoping that those guys are going to help me with. The Barb Gaunts, they have a lot of shots, and if they hit you, you're going to be moving slow after you get hit, which is a really, really powerful ability, definitely against certain armies, and I'm hoping to leverage that in the battle today. And finally, the Termagants. They've been a staple of Tyranid armies for a long, long time, but the model has always been a little bit boring. The new Termagants look amazing. You get 20 of them in the Leviathan set, which I'm really, really excited to get my Leviathan set and paint these guys up, because I just think they look really, really awesome and dynamic. So looking forward to putting those on the table today. And one more unit I forgot. How could I forget the Neurogaunts? These guys are cheap. They're not particularly good, but again, they help with the board control. They help also to spread synapse because they're a synapse creature, so they can give synapse to your other bugs around them, which helps them with their battle shock. They die pretty easily. They're not super killing in combat, but it's just another wall or potential screen or a unit that I can chuck out there to score me some objective points. So yeah, the NIDS army in this box set is very much about trying to play the missions as best as possible. It's not super powerful in terms of, you know, if I go toe-to-toe with the Marines, I'm going to come off badly. But if I can draw the right cards, because we're going to be playing the tactical objectives, then the Tyranids can score those really, really well. So that's what we're going to be hoping to do today. We are going to be doing this deployment map, Search and Destroy. It's corner deployment with a circle cut out in the middle. So our armies are going to start fairly close together. There's 5 objectives on this mission, including one right in the middle. The primary mission is priority target, which actually means you can't score anything in the first round, but from rounds 2, 3, 4, and the start of the 5th round, you score in your command phase. But then at the end of the game, you can also score points as well. So you can only score a maximum of 10 points a turn. So you only really need to hold 2 points in order to get 10 each turn. But at the end of the battle, you can get up to 15 points if you're holding 3 different points. So that's going to be really, really important. It's going to be really, really important to try to survive as best that you can so that you can score really big on the primary at the end of the game. Secret Intel is our mission rule for today, which is a really nice one because it means we get to draw an extra card, which, if we're doing the tactical secondaries, is really, really important because it means that you can choose better secondaries that you think your army is going to be able to do. So this is a nice intro game, and if you're playing your first game of Leviathan, when you get these models set up, or your first game in 10th, this is a great mission. We've tried this setup before actually, and it worked really, really well for us. So we recommend this as a good mission setup to try for an intro game.
Alright, so this is the battlefield we've got set up today. So we got some really cool orc ruins and a single lone imperial building. Of course, this is where I'll be hunkering down because I won the roll off to choose deployment sides. So yeah, we got some big ruins here, here, and here. Really good for hiding behind, you know, getting obscuring. We've got some smaller buildings down here. Got some woods over here. We've got these small barriers that you can simply climb over, like you don't have to lose movement. And yeah, so there's quite a lot of cover, so there's really good chances for us to improve our saves. Good places to hide models from terrifying long-distance shots like my Dreadnought and whatever Tyranids have that's super long range. And yeah, it looks like a really good map.
And the cover rules in 10th do work a bit differently, so if you haven't played 10th before, it's a little bit to get your head around at first, but like once you've played a few games, they start making more sense, and hopefully will help to explain any of those interactions today.
Okay, so both myself and Michael, we finished deploying, and I'm going to walk you through a little bit my logic for how I've deployed these guys. So over here, I got 2 squads of Infernus Marines, my Phobos Lieutenant, and my Apothecary Biologist. The idea here is I'm going to try and bum rush onto that point. I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to make sure I'm really difficult to charge with a bunch of Overwatch and some other little shenanigans that I'll be able to do with this guy, because he has a cool ability I'll talk about later. Up in here, I have my Stern Guard veterans. I've put them in here on the second floor so they can, they can have good line of sight on the middle. These guys are really threatening. Their shooting is really good. So I just want them, I don't really want to move them too much, especially because one of the weapons is heavy, so I want to get that +1 to hit. And yeah, they're just going to offer supporting fire to this part of the battlefield. Down here, I got my librarian, my Terminator librarian. I'm just going to hold him back for a little bit. He's going to be a bit of a counter-charge threat. If I need him to like rush in and do some smiting and do some axe work, I can always bring him in later. And last that I've deployed here is my Ballistus Dreadnought. He's simply going to hold at the back point and just be a big boy and shoot lots of guns. As for my Deep Strike, I put these guys into Deep Strike because they have that ability, of course. They're Terminators, they're famous for it. And I put the captain with the unit for extra buffs and extra smashing. And yeah, that's me. Oh, and little teleport homer, which I will later put anywhere on the battlefield, and then I can do a rapid ingress with these guys and just bring them in out of nowhere. But it has to be within a certain distance of this, which is a cool thing that Michael will have to be aware of for this battle.
And I am finished deploying my Tyranids as well, so here we go. I've got the Screamer Killer. He's ready to potentially maraud down the flank and threaten this objective. I think it's important in this kind of mission. If you can hold your opponent to a 5 on primary, that's going to be massive. I've got some Barb Gaunts who are hiding in this building. Obviously they can't see anything right now, but they have very good guns with a chance of getting some shots perhaps onto the middle if he makes a play for that. I've got Malamar over here. He is going to be hopefully giving his synapse ability to some units that are within 12 inches of him, and just kind of supporting. But I decided in this game he's not going to be leading this squad over here of the Neuragaunts. They're holding my back point currently. Nice kind of screening unit, and screening again is important, especially when you have Terminators who can come in with rapid ingress. So I've got my Ripper Swarms right back in the corner over here. And again, some of the secondaries involve kind of getting to the corners of the battlefield. So if I happen to pull that tactical objective in the first round, those little Rippers are going to help me score some points, which is always nice. Over here, my Psychophage is defending, or hoping that he's going to push out and start to defend this objective over here. He has a nice range of attacks, and he also gives Feel No Pain to the bugs around him, which is nice because I've got some Termagants hiding in this building, just as a unit of 10. And I have my Tyranid Prime with wings also in there. He's just going to be a bit of a utility piece to perhaps jump out, cap an objective, or do a secondary. Not super killy, but he's a nice little utility piece for this army. Finally, I was able to infiltrate with my Von Ryan's Reapers. I didn't want to push them up too far because then I could be playing into Sam's hands if he gets to go first. So rather than that, they are doing some nice kind of screening over in this corner, and also holding this objective for me already, which is wonderful. Can't score a primary on round 1, obviously, but it's still nice to know that I have that unit in place. I have a unit of 10 Termagants who are in strategic reserve, so they'll be coming in later. Not as freely as Sam with his deep striking Terminators, but they can still come in and cause a surprise, or maybe help me get some secondary points again. You see, my plan is all about trying to score those secondaries, so let's see how that works out. So Sam, the dice are in our hands, which is where the fun begins, because we're about to roll off to see who's going to go first today. So, do you want to go first or second?
I honestly don't know. It's kind of a tricky one. If I go first, I'm not going to be able to really shoot anything. So honestly, I don't really mind.
Well, let's find out. I don't mind as well. So I'm going to be rolling the black dice today,
and I'll be rolling the white dice.
Camera's not that good.
The zoom function is lacking.
I'm recording.
Good luck, Sam. Okay,
good luck. Here we go.
Here we go. It's a 4.
It's a 3. All right. Tyranids are going first.
Tyranids are going first.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. So we've both gone for tactical objectives today. So I'm going to draw 3. Now normally you would draw 2, but because of the mission, we get to draw 3. So let's see. So I have attempting target, storm hostile objective, and deploy teleport homer. So attempting target means that my opponent will choose a objective in no man's land, and if I can hold it at the end of my turn, I achieve the secondary and I score 5 victory points. Could be an interesting one. Then I have storm hostile objectives. Now, in order to score this, I have to... I can't actually do this during the first battle round, so I actually have to shuffle that one back in and redraw, so I'll do that in a moment. And deploy teleport Homer, I get points for if I'm doing an action basically with a unit. It's not called an action anymore, but in my shooting phase, I can choose a unit that could have shot, that's not battle shocked, and if they do an action within 6 of the center, then I score some points, or if I do it in my opponent's deployment zone, I score some points. So that could be an interesting one too, although it could be quite hard. So I'm going to shuffle back Storm Hostile Objective into that. And bring it down. Oh, that's not really going to be a good one. So I'm definitely not going to go for bring it down, which means attempting target and deploy teleport Homer are going to be my secondary objectives for the first round. Not a great draw, but let's see what we can do.
All right, guys. So now we're going to hear from Michael about his turn 1 movement phase.
I actually did quite a lot of moving. My secondaries that I drew were really, really poor. Sam chose the center as a tempting target, and while I'm sure it would be incredibly tempting for him if I put something on it on turn 1, I wasn't prepared to risk that straight away. So I did move my Tyranid Prime up here, the guy with wings, and he is just kind of hiding. Now my other secondary that I drew, I'll score points if I'm within 6 of the center doing an action, or whether I'm doing an action in Sam's deployment zone. Again, not a great secondary for me turn 1. I know I said my priority was to score really well on the secondaries, but not going to happen this turn 1, so I'm going to get 0 for my secondaries because he's not going to be able to do the action. He wasn't able to get within range. I just advanced him, but he's there, and if I still have those secondaries next turn, I could be scoring them with him. So moving over to this flank over here, I decided to be a bit aggressive. I've moved the Screamer Killer forward. Now, although Sam is going to be able to see him, he is going to be able to be getting cover, I think, from most of the shots coming in, although I think those Flamers ignore cover.
They do, yes.
But he has a 2-up save, so he's not afraid of those Flamers. But also I have my Barb Gaunts, and I decided to be a bit aggressive with them as well. They came out of the building, and they are going to be shooting, hopefully popping some shots into those Marines over there, which will be quite fun, I think, to hit them and slow them down, and who knows, maybe even kill 1 or 2.
That sounds terribly annoying.
Neuro Tyrant just moved up here so he can stay in range, so he can give those the buffs, hoping that they're still around next turn. The Oath of Moment is a thing, so can't really guarantee their survival. I'm still worried about this corner, especially when Sam told me the range of that Dreadnought. So I have my Neuragaunts over here. I know my Rippers are out of his range, but he could have seen my Neuragaunts where I deployed them, but now they are back and hopefully hidden. My Termagants are just still screening over here. My Psychophage advanced and gone to this point, so if something were to happen to these Von Rein's Leapers, at least I have 2 things holding this point. And that's all of my movement. So I'm going to go to my shooting phase. I don't have too much to shoot, so that should be a short phase. And then we'll let you know how it goes at the end of the turn. So yeah, Sam wasn't quite ready for the barrage. He's not too happy about it. But basically I decided with my Barb Gaunts to split fire, hearing that his plan was to run onto this objective. So one of them fired shots at his Apothecary, didn't wound him, but hit him. 2 of them fired shots at the unit on my right, which is your left, and that unit took a wound. And then 2 of them shot and hit the other unit of 5, didn't do any wounds, but they are also, so the advantage of hitting them with the Barb Gaunt is that those units are now slowed down. So they're going to be -2 to their move, -2 to their advance. If Sam was hoping to jump out into this objective next turn, he's...
As you can perhaps tell from my facial expression, I'm very excited about this prospect.
He's going to be walking slow. So, so sometimes, you don't have to kill to strike a blow, and that's definitely what happened here.
Yeah, I would have been happier losing 4 Marines in total than being this useless. So this is definitely some of my plans have been slightly thwarted by a mere 2 inches. So I believe it's my turn next. Yeah. And let's see how
no
this
charges. At the end of my turn, I'm going to hang on to these objectives because maybe I can score them next turn. So I'm not going to... I do have the option of chucking one back or chucking both of them back for a CP. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hang on to them because I think I can score them well next turn. So we're both going to roll ourselves up a CP, and then Sam's going to begin his turn 1. Woo!
All right, so one thing we didn't include earlier, because slight oversight, as one might say, the teleport homer. So I put it here on this point retroactively. Michael was very kind, enough to allow me to do this, despite him having already moved.
This is the important rule. If you're playing a game of 40k, don't be that guy. If your opponent misses something, especially when you're playing your first few games of 10th, let them go back and do it. That's what being a good person is all about.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So I'm rolling us up a CP each. This is how we show our CP.
And Sam is just about to draw his tactical secondaries for the turn.
All right, let's see what we get. Guard ourselves a tempting target. I believe that's the one you got earlier, so that's great. We got ourselves Assassination, which I'm on board with, because I think you have a lot of characters in your army. I might be able to kill one. Not with them, though. And then I have Extend Battle Line, so if you control one of objective markers in your own deployment zone and also one in No Man's Land, I would score 5 VP. So actually, those dudes shooting these chaps and making them really slow is pretty clutch. So that's a really good move. I have to now make some difficult decisions. Probably going to keep Assassinate. Oh, tempting target. I'm going to have to think about this one. I'm going to need a minute or two. All right, after a fair bit of pondering, I decided to get rid of a tempting target because it's rubbish. And the only thing it's going to achieve for me is the death of many Space Marines. Also because it would be perhaps a little bit too funny if he chose this one and then I wasn't able to get on it. So I'll be getting rid of a tempting target, and I'll be keeping Assassination and Extend Battle Lines. However, at the end of my turn, I think it's very likely that I'm going to get rid of one of these. Assassination, I was very confident about it at first, and then I asked the key question you must always ask your opponent. Hey, where are your characters? And then he pointed out that they were all very hard to see. And there was no chance of me reaching them because everything in my army is a little bit slower than his, especially over here. And
How
yeah.
fast are they moving, Sam?
3 inches. No, 4, I lied. It's better than I thought. Yeah, so same as Michael, my secondary missions here are not particularly good. So when that happens, I think it's always a good idea to consider getting rid of one at the end of your turn and getting CP. Because CP is still very useful in this game, in 10th edition. So yeah, that's my plan.
So Sam, it's your command phase, and you get to choose which target you're going to be declaring as your oath of moment.
All right, so this one was actually a no-brainer. This is the target. I hate these guys now. It's extremely personal.
The Barb Gaunts.
Yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to eliminate them. Also because I think choosing that big guy over there is tempting, but
The Psychophage?
The Psychophage, yeah. I would only be getting rerolls for the Ballistus Dreadnought, and he already has built-in rerolls, I believe, against for wounds. So, because that thing is its full
I
starting
think
strength.
it's a reroll hits because it's below starting strength, or is it wounds?
And this is why we have data sheets.
Yeah.
Because I'll be double checking this in a moment. But I'm pretty confident he can do some damage there, and I need everything available to try and deal with it.
And while you talk about data sheets, we do actually have printed data sheets here. These are not the official GW ones that you can buy, but because they shared the PDF documents, we were able to print them out. So we printed them and laminated them, which is a really good solution for playing the game today.
Yes, a lifesaver.
So, Sam, you just finished moving. Do you want to talk us through what you did?
Reluctantly. So basically, this is how this went down. I rolled some advances. I actually rolled really well, but I was only able to get this guy on the point. He will now die in the very near future, either to this guy, or yeah. There's just so many threats in the area. But I'm more than happy to sacrifice him because I want to get extend battle lines, which I will now get. So I'll be getting 5 points in secondary, but it does come at a bit of a price. My flamer guys, I was able to move them up a bit, but I didn't want to move them too close, and I want to have this guy to perhaps like screen a little bit. And this is why I took 2 units of 5. The idea is so that I don't lose all of them in one go. But this is the hill I'm going to die on, so I'm going to do my best to deal with that.
And your librarian chose that objective, didn't he, at the start of the game as his objective, that anything within 6 of him gets to reroll wounds.
Wounds of 1, yeah. So that's
is
the
that
objective.
if you're shooting something within range of the objective, is that how that works?
If I'm within 6 inches of him and then close to the objective. As for my Strongguard veterans, they are the only guys who are really going to be able to shoot decent shots into them, just because of how the terrain has been laid out.
And we checked, they can all see, but I will be getting partial, they're partially visible, so I'll be getting the benefit of cover.
Yeah.
for those attacks.
Which is good. for you at least. And then I got my Dreadnought over here on the right. I really wanted him to be able to get some shots into these guys, but just considering how the terrain is laid out, you know, the gods of Warhammer decided to not be in my favor. So I'll just be shooting anything else I can. Almost certainly that big monster over there.
Psychophage.
Psychophage. I'm very bad with Tyranid names. Always.
Yeah, I'm still learning the new ones, to be honest.
There's a lot of names, and a lot of them end in very scientific sounding terms. But yeah, so we're gonna move to shooting phase now. I'm gonna plunge some fire in your direction.
I think you have to be 5 inches above.
I'm going to not plunge some fire in your direction. I'm just simply going to shoot it.
Sorry, don't mean to be that guy, but you know, these new rules, we've got to get them right.
Indeed. All right, let's do this.
Right, Sam, I know you're playing Marines today, but I feel like you should be playing the Leagues of Votan because I feel like you have a serious grudge now against my Barb Gaunts.
I do. I hate them. It's extremely personal. I dislike any models that say blah 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 reduce your movement. That's super annoying, especially when you're playing with the guys who only move 6 inches, or in this case 5 inches. Very offensive.
He's declared them as his open moment target, and he's just about to shoot them with his Stern Guard vets. Pretty dangerous shooting, although I'm glad that they're quite far away. They're not in rapid fire range, so it is going to be a few less shots.
Yes.
However, I want the Barb Gaunts to survive to annoy Sam for at least one more turn, so I'm going to be spending a CP. And that CP is going to give them a field no pain. Now, ordinarily, it would give a Tyranid unit a 6-up field no pain, but because they have Synapse, they are going to be actually having a 5-up field no pain. So
that's
maybe it will keep them alive.
That's pretty good because I have a lot of a lot of keywords here. I've got devastating wounds. We've got heavy. This is going to be. These guys are. They look like regular guys, but man, they shoot really well.
They lost one guy, and one more guy's taken a wood. Lovely.
Lovely stuff.
It's a sad day for the Space Marines. All right, so just finished my turn 1 here, and it was rubbish. So I failed miserably to kill a lot of these guys. I only managed to kill 1, and that is because Michael over here rolled Feel No Pains like an absolute champion. Woohoo! As you saw,
You go, Barb Gaunts.
You're making my guys not go. Anyways, however, I was able to achieve some success by getting this guy onto the point, and I will be scoring. I'll be scoring points with my secondary extend battle lines because of it. So that's pretty good.
And that gets you 5 points if you're playing tactical missions, right?
It does, yes, and that's a pretty decent start, especially for when considering the overall circumstances of this.
Yeah, I scored 0 my first turn, so it does put you in the lead.
Yeah. The other thing is the Dreadnought shot over there. I did a few wounds, but again, 5-up Feel No Pains. They came in pretty clutch and made my life difficult. But overall, yeah, so I can't complain too much. I was thinking of pitching one of these secondaries at the end of my turn to get CP, but I think I'm actually going to keep it because I see he's got that little chap over there. What was that guy's name?
He's the Tyranid Prime with wings.
Tyranid Prime with wings. I'll remember that sometime in 2024. And he's almost certainly going to jump into the middle in the near future, and I reckon I'll be able to kill him easily enough.
Well, that's the thing, like, Assassinate is worth 5 points to you, but if I can get my secondaries on the next turn, that could be worth, 8 points. Depends what I draw, like, I'm going to draw another one and see, maybe I'm going to discard one of these.
Yeah.
It's the luck of the draw. So I'm actually going to do that right now. Do you want to roll us up a
Absolutely,
CP
yeah.
each? I've got 1 CP left, you're up to 3, so I'll be up to 2.
Yep.
And I also got Extend Battle Line, so that's actually really good. So that does mean I'm going to get rid of Deploy Teleport Homer because I can score more points if I can just claim one of those 2 objectives.
And just like that, my plan has gone out the window. Because that's the way it goes with these cards. Like, you never know what secondaries you're going to get. So it really encourages building flexible lists, having loads of utility units like you've got.
It's really fun. And the jury's still out on, like, what's the more competitive way to play, whether it's actually better to build a flexible army that can do these missions, or whether it's better to go fixed secondaries so you know what your game plan is. I think it's going to depend on what army you're playing.
Yes.
But if you're just playing a picker game, if you're playing for fun, if you're playing casually, I'm going to be playing these cards all the time because I love these tactical objectives. It's really, really fun.
Yes.
And so I have a tempting target, which is still going to be this objective in the middle. And my other objective is to extend my battle lines, which means I just need to hold my home point and a point in the middle. Or, sorry, any of the points in No Man's Land.
So you're already scoring the secondary, I believe.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to play really badly to mess that up.
I think he's going to get points, guys. Not because he's a Warhammer legend, but,
Which will make me feel better because I did pretty badly on the first turn.
And this is how this works. Like, you will have turns where you score 0 or 3 or 2 victory points. Then you'll have turns where you score 15. Like, it really swings a lot. So yeah, this is not very surprising at all.
Anyway, I'm going to begin my turn 2, and we'll come back after I finish my movement phase. So I just finished my turn 2 movement phase. I thought about bringing in the termagants at the end of the turn, but I decided that would be a bit of a luxury. I don't necessarily need them to come in and score me any secondary points this turn, so I'd rather keep them in reserve another turn and then potentially bring them in next turn, depending on what I draw. My secondaries are very kind this turn. I kept a tempting target from last turn, and I've moved my character, my Tyranid Prime, onto the middle. Now this is a bit of a risk because I know that Sam has Assassinate, but I need those points as well. Like I need my points for a tempting target, and I don't want to risk not scoring it this turn and then Sam, you know, chucking away Assassinate and getting something better. So I've decided he's there. If Sam wants to kill him, he can get his points, but I'm definitely going to get mine by moving him onto that point.
I believe also you'll be getting more points than I would get from Assassinate anyways.
I get 5 for it.
Okay,
But
so
you have to kill him to get your 5,
yes.
whereas I'm definitely
mine's
getting
a lot more challenging, especially considering you put him really cleverly.
Yeah, I
there.
tried to hide him as best I can. I'm actually going to move him around so that his wing is less visible.
And this is legal because we're friends.
Yeah. He had 12-inch movement, so he's got like
Yeah,
tons of movement.
no
He
problem.
would need to advance. Of course, he can just kill him with his dreadnought if he likes, but then he'll be ignoring the psychophage, which is moving up on the flank here. Don't really know what I'm doing with him, to be honest. I'm just kind of giving him something scary.
I'm glad you said that because I was terrified. I'm slightly more reassured now. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, you know, like part of my plan was just, you know, you've got your deployment, your teleport homer over here. So he is actually screening, helping me to screen this kind of corner. So it's going to be hard for you to kind of come in.
It is also a classic Tyranid tactic: apply pressure and don't let your opponent breathe.
Yeah, like getting to go first definitely helped me with that. And talking about applying pressure, let's have a look at what's going on over here. So these Barmcorns didn't move, so they're ready to fire their shots at lots of different squads again, just to slow them all down.
Yay!
And because they're heavy, they'll be getting +1 to hit. So that was my reasoning for not moving them. I know that they're kind of in the open there. They are going to get synapse. I could always use that stratagem again to try and keep them alive. Just it worked really well last time.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good idea. I'm so excited about this prospect.
The Neuro Tyrant, I love this guy. I don't know how good he is, but I really, really like the model. He is just kind of floating up. He actually has a shooting attack, so he is in range to fling some psychic energy at you. And talking about flinging energy at you, the Screamer Killer is right up in your face. He moved on to this point. Sam elected not to Overwatch. He's only got 5-man squads of the Flamer guys.
Yeah, and you have a 2-up save.
Yeah, so he didn't fancy his chances of doing too much with Overwatch here. So he is in a menacing position. Obviously, I'm taking that objective as we stand, and he's hoping to do a lot more. He's got shooting attacks, and if he makes that charge, he's got some pretty scary claws.
Yeah, and I feel like I should explain my reasoning for not doing Overwatch. I want to be very clear about this. That's 5d6 shots, which sounds really good, and it is pretty good. It would be
5d6 hits.
Yes, 5d6 auto hits. It sounds like an excellent prospect. And it would be against that guy, like against everyone else. But when you're dealing with a big monster like this, a Screamer Killer with a 2-up save and it's toughness 9, I'll be wounding on 5s, no rerolls. It would be a disaster waiting to happen. So I'm just gonna bite the bullet, probably lose some chaps over here, and then I'll just hopefully be able to do some more damage later.
Yeah, so we're going to see what happens. We're going to go to my shooting phase, and then we'll let you know how it goes. So we just finished my turn, just to let you know what happened. I did some more annoying shooting with the Barmcorns. These guys have been the MVPs. So I decided to split fire with the whole unit. They didn't move, so they were all hitting on 3s. So one of them shot the Stern Guard, actually did a wound, and now the Stern Guard are slowed down, so even if they wanted to come down the building, I don't think they can anymore.
Nope.
Then one of them shot the Biologist guy over here. Didn't do any wounds, but slowed him down because they hit. One of them shot the squad at the back, slowed them down as well. And one of them shot the squad in the front. And you're noticing a pattern here, slowed them down, also did a wound.
So he split fire, because he has, 4 of them in the unit, shot 4 separate units of mine, slowed all 4 of them down.
And this is something amazing about the Barmcorn datasheet, is it's often these abilities on the datasheet read like when you have finished shooting, you choose one unit that you hit, and they get this penalty. So for example, the Screamer Killer, after he's shot a unit, the unit that he shot at, they have to take a battle shot test, which actually Sam failed for this unit at the back, so they were battle shocked. But the Barmcorns, their awesome ability is it just happens. So if I split fire and shoot many, many different units, and they're all infantry, it only works on infantry, they will all be slowed down. So it's a really, really powerful ability if you can split fire. You have to kind of except they're not going to do masses of damage.
Yeah.
Against Marines, 3 up armor, you're very lucky if you're going to chip a wound or 2 off. Maybe if they all focus down, they could do some damage on a squad. But I decided for the utility, let's slow Sam down, let's be annoying, and actually get him to impact 4 different units. Sam is not loving the barb gaunts.
No, this is a bit of a tricky pickle I'm in now.
I'm really impressed with them.
I'm actually now seriously concerned because now I have a lot of things I need to remove. Because this guy did some pretty serious damage with, with his shooting attacks.
The Neuro Tyrant was able to plink off some of the Flamer guys at the back. The Screamer Killer shot as well, and he killed one, and that's why they're battle shocked. And he actually ended up charging the Lieutenant who was on that point. Took Sam off the point, so Sam is going to be held to a 5 on primary on top of his turn 2, which is what we're about to go into right now.
This is definitely a mission for some Terminators, I believe. I'm probably going to have to bring them in very soon because I simply need damage output. But then I'm also terrified that he's going to simply shoot them with them and then they're going to move 3 inches and be useless. So this is difficult. I actually have some very difficult decisions to make. I have to deal with this guy because he just shreds anything. I also have to deal with this guy, the Tyranid Prime, because I need to score points for my secondary. And I actually really do need to deal with these guys here because if I don't, I'm going to be unable to move.
If you do deal with those problems, though, there's not too many more problems I can pose.
That's
to you,
true.
So you definitely have a clear idea of where to go from here. But what you don't have is your secondary for this turn. So do you want to draw those cards right now?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right, here we go. So
I'm going to roll us up a CP while you do that.
Thank
so
you
I'm
very
up to
much.
3 and you're up to 4.
Yeah, I'll be spending some CP this turn, that's for sure. Okay, so I got Investigate Signals, which doesn't bode very well, and I got Defend Stronghold. So I'm definitely going to keep Defend Stronghold because I just want free points, and I feel like I'm going to have to do the thing I did last time and have a wee old think.
So another reason why that was a very good turn for me, remember on turn 1 I didn't score any secondary points, but on turn 2 I scored both of them. I scored a tempting target by getting my prime onto the middle there, and I scored extend battle lines. I only need to hold my back point and one of the no man's land points, and it just so happens I'm holding all of them. Yeah, I went very aggressive to try to take the board. We'll see if the Marines can peg me back on their turn. Remember, Sam does get to choose his Oath of Movement target, and he didn't use a doctrine on turn 1, so he might decide to go into one of his doctrines on turn 2.
Yes. My logic there was I didn't really feel the need to use one of my doctrines early on when realistically I'm only going to be shooting one thing, and the buffs you get from them, to be able to advance and shoot without penalty, turn 1 didn't really make a difference, but I feel like this turn maybe that could make a difference down here with these spells. I've also gone ahead and decided what to do with my secondaries. I drew Defend Stronghold and Investigate Signals. I'm not going to keep Investigate Signals because it's crap. Because my infantry don't move very quick, and the only thing I can...
Oh, why is that?
Oh, don't worry about it. Just due to the actions of an oath, I'm unable to move at speed. So
Sweet of those guys to break an oath.
So the only way I could actually do this action would be I would have to go into my Devastator Doctrine, right? Then I would have to advance into this corner with my Flamer dudes, and then I would have to do an action, and then I'd have to bring in...
Oh, that's the corner one.
Yes, exactly. It's the
It's
corner.
the one I've been waiting for with these rippers over here.
Yeah, it's going to happen, and then you will score many points when that does happen. For me, though, this is a tragic story of failure, which has been the theme of my game so far. So, my decision to sit back and let you come at me did not pan out at all. But yeah, let's see what I can pull off. Yeah. I am not hopeful, but hey, I'm going to act hopeful.
The thing with Space Marines is you always have the tools to get back in the game. Even when you feel like you're losing, you can turn the game on its head with choosing the right Oath of Moment target, or just kind of drawing the right card. Like Marines are so tactically flexible. That's what makes them so good.
Yeah, and I'm a cynic. Okie dokie. So I just finished my movement phase. So in my command phase, I made this giant beast, the Screamer Killer, the target for Oath of Moment. So I'll be rerolling a lot against it. God, I hope I kill it. Otherwise, I'm in very serious trouble. And then I guess I moved the Dreadnought up a little bit like that. So he still has his pinky toe on the point, just in case. Because later, Michael, you have an ability with Tyranids in the command zone. He can make my entire army take a battle shock test. So I want to make sure I have enough guys on that point in case things go really wrong. So I have 3 units on that point. If I fail all 3, well, life is hard. I brought my Terminators in because I feel like if I don't put out this Tyranid flavored fire soon, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. And also I have Assassinate, so I'm going to try and do some damage to this guy. I got some different options for shooting. I could also charge this guy because it's a 9-inch charge, but I do get to reroll them, so that's a gamble I could make. Michael was contemplating in a very evil way. What were you contemplating?
So I was thinking as soon as Sam was bringing in these Terminators, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I could give them -2 to their charge? But the Barb Gaunt's ability only works after you've shot in the shooting phase, so it doesn't work after Overwatch. So I'm going to be saving that CP, I'm not going to be Overwatching.
I would have been irate. And yeah, I suppose the other thing is over here, the Infernus Marines, I have a total of 6 left, 1 unit 2, 1 unit 4. They are also going to try and shoot some fire into this big chap. I don't have very high hopes, but I do have one little trick up my sleeve that I hope could turn the tide here. I really need to remove a lot of stuff. But if I'm able to do that, like you mentioned earlier, Michael, these are your alpha threats. These are the things that are the things that could win you the game. If I'm able to remove them now, that'll swing the game dramatically. So it's basically just going to come down to the most fun part of the game, rolling dice. And yeah, and the other thing I forgot to mention is that I am going into the Devastator Doctrine. This is something I actually really needed, again, due to the MVPs apparently, the Barb Guns. So I had to advance these guys to get them onto the point. I had to, and that was it, that was the only one.
Don't those guys have assault guns?
They do not, no.
Are they not assault?
Flamers are no longer assault.
Wow.
And as a Salamander player, let me assure you how much that breaks my heart. All those 15 Flamer aggressives I have at home are now not looking so fresh.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that they're not assault. So yeah, nice call going into Devastator. And obviously with the -2 to their movement, you had to charge them to get up to the point. So
yeah, hopefully I'm going to start playing good Warhammer now. Let's see how this goes. Alright, so I just finished my shooting phase. And things did not go to plan.
It wasn't too bad. Your Flamer guys, what are they called? The Infernus Marines?
Infernus Marines, yeah.
The ones that advanced, they then shot through the window and did tons of wounds to the Screamer.
They did, yes. You rolled
down to like half wounds.
Yeah, you rolled saves really poorly, and I went pretty hot with the rolls, and that was pretty good.
Because I spent a CP to actually give him the 5-up Feel No Pain, and then I rolled terrible on my saves. I only had to make 2-up saves. I rolled like 4 ones.
Yeah, it wasn't
really
great.
bad.
Then, on the other hand, I popped a strat on my Ballistus Dreadnought to give his attacks extra AP. My idea there being that like this guy has a 2-up save, the Screamer Killer is a 2-up save, so I wanted to give him a 6-up save and a 5-up save for my 2 big heavy-hitting weapons that really should have done the job, in my humble opinion. Alas, Michael, what happened?
Well, first of all, your Oath of Moment let you down because you failed to wound with like 2 of the, 2 shots.
4 shots and 2 fell off.
Yeah, and then I rolled a, like a god on my saves. I needed a 6, rolled a 6.
Like
I needed a 5 or a 6, rolled another 6. So the Screamer Killer is alive on 3 wounds. He will have a battle shock test coming up next turn, which he could fail, but then again I could auto pass it.
Yep.
But that wasn't your only shooting, was it, Sam? You also had the Stern Guard that tried to shoot him as well.
Yeah, the Stern Guard also they shot. They didn't really succeed all that well, despite having devastating wounds. Yeah, it was just a tough nut to crack. The guy's really tough when you're shooting anti-infantry weapons at something that's big like this. It's just really hard to punch through sometimes.
It's just awesome having that 2-up armor.
2-up armor save is amazing. Yeah. Especially when so many weapons in the game, their AP has been reduced. So that was pretty effective.
You brought the Terminators in this turn, didn't you? Onto the middle objective.
Yes.
And you decided to try to kill the Barb Gaunts, and how did that work out, Sam?
Poorly. Again, just my shooting hasn't really been great. Yeah, I can't really say much else outside of that. It's just been a bit crap. But hey, you can't let that get to you. It's still early days. My plan now is, my logic here was, I have to really do a lot this turn, I feel. Otherwise, like, things are going to go really south. After I failed to kill this guy, the Screamer Killer, I was like, oh boy, this is going south real quick. So I basically decided, I have to get rid of these guys because otherwise I can't move. And that's kind of critical in a wargaming game. So I tried to shoot them off. I thought I was pretty certain I had enough to kill him, but alas, no. So I'm going to rely on charging him.
And now as we go into the charge phase, we've got a really, really big one coming up. So Sam chose Assassinate as one of the secondary cards that he was going to keep for this turn. I have a character right here. He's managed to plink a wound off him with the Dreadnought already. Mm-hmm. His Terminator's deep struck 9 inches away with the idea that they're going to make a charge against him, and Sam says they can re-roll the charge. Is that the captain?
Yes, that's the captain's ability, yeah.
So it's a 9-inch charge with a re-roll, about a 55% chance mathematically. So the odds are in your favour, but can you make that 9-inch charge? Because if you don't, you're not going to get assassinate, and I'm going to hold that middle point. So this is a really, really big moment in the game now, Sam.
And then my Terminators will be exposed to the real MVP.
The Barb Gods.
The Barb Gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
So, yeah, let's
big
roll
roll
charge.
coming up. Good luck.
Here we
need
go.
a 9-inch.
Oh boy. This
And
is
you roll a 9. Nope.
that's a 4.
Gonna need that reroll.
I'm no
Sam.
mathematician, but 4 is less than 9. Oh please. The gods of Warhammer. Grant me. Yeah!
It's exactly 9 inches. He's made it.
Oh god.
Wow. Sam, the
This game was
remote
gonna end
down low.
real quick.
It's paid off this time.
God, I love
It's
maths.
charged.
Alright, so that fight phase was extremely short. I think it lasted approximately 50 seconds.
But you did use a CP.
I did use a CP. I was very nervous. So I used a CP to give my guys lance. So +1 to wound on the charge. Probably incredibly unnecessary.
Definitely in this.
But I was very afraid of seeing a field of skulls, a field of ones.
He didn't want to risk some shenanigans. Like I could have pulled the Field of Pain on him again, and maybe jacked my way out of his demise.
Yeah.
But Sam was just making sure of it, so I didn't bother using the Field of Pain. Sam eviscerated him, just the guy with his power
The
sword.
captain by himself did it, which really made me rethink my life when it comes to making decisions in the game.
I did have a chance to fight back on a 4-up. That guy can fight on death. Roll a 1, so he didn't.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's the end of my turn. I will be scoring both of my secondaries, assassination because I assassinated a dude who needed assassinating, and I get defense stronghold because I sat on my back point in a very lazy fashion.
So you get 8 points in total for that?
I get 8 points.
Nice.
3 of them extremely easy. So that's
we're going to go into round 3. I'm going to roll us both up a CP, so both onto 3.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to score my primary in a moment, and I'm also going to draw my secondary cards.
So I believe, for primary you'll be scoring 10.
Okay. Right, so just to show you what I drew, I got Defend Stronghold. I got, which is the one that Sam just got, very, very easy. Hold my back point, score some points. 3 points, lovely. I got Assassination, if I can kill a character.
Familiar.
Going to be very difficult, I think. Engage on all fronts, very possible.
Very easy, I would say.
Very possible.
You're already in 3 corners. You have that guy who, the big fella right there who can run up and get you in the 4th. So yeah.
I'll be chucking away Assassination, and I'll be keeping Defense Stronghold and Engage on all fronts. And for primary, I'm going to be scoring my 10 because I'm on...
I would actually perhaps consider going for Assassination because I do have this character right here.
Oh, thank you, Sam. You
Alright.
are what an opponent you are.
Thank you.
So if
I hear that very often.
if I can kill him, then I'll get 5 points. If I defend my stronghold, I get 3 points. So, but what about engage? How many points do I get for engage? I'm going to do that Sam thing where he thinks, and then I'm going to come back and let you know how my movement phase went. Right. So I just took my battle shock tests for my Barb Gaunts and my Screamer Killer, but thanks to Malamar,
I hate
the
that.
Neuro Tyrant, he already gave them the Synapse ability, so they were able to roll 3 dice, so they passed it easily. I've chosen my secondaries for the turn. I've decided to go a bit
Cagier, perhaps you could say?
yeah,
Safer
careful. So I could have gone for Assassinate, which would have been the tougher play, and tried to kill that Biologist, who's not that crucial, to be honest.
As a matter of fact, he's quite useless.
But instead, I decided to go for Defend Stronghold, which is a guaranteed 3 points, and Engage in all fronts, which I'm fairly confident I'm going to be able to get as well. So I just passed my Battleshock test, but Sam, got a surprise for you, because you've got some Battleshock tests to do now, because I'm unleashing the Shadow in the Warp.
He's acting like it's a surprise. I had a feeling this was coming.
It's my once per game ability to force him to do Battleshock test all over the board, and because of this guy, the Neuro Tyrant, also known as Malamar, you're going to be taking all those tests at -1.
Excellent. That sounds so much fun.
So we're going to roll those tests off camera because it's not really tremendously interesting.
And before we do, the key thing here is that like the wording on the core stratagem, like insane bravery, you can only use it in your command phase. So him doing it during his turn is really clever because it basically means that any Battleshock test that I fail simply is failed. I cannot automatically pass it for CP, which is a shame because I have a lot of this stuff. So this could be really crucial. If I roll terrible here and it's because my leadership has been reduced, this could go quite wrong. So we'll see in a sec how things go, but I'm wary.
So, Sam, how did the Shadow in the Warp work out for you?
What? Oh, hey, how's it going, buddy? Please don't touch me. Okay, there are many words one could describe this scenario: apocalyptic, calamitous, catastrophic. Ragnarok.
Talk us through it. So you rolled for the two-man squad of Infernus Marines.
Okay, I'm going to use my favorite word that starts with an F. Failed, 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 failed. I passed 2 leadership tests, 2 battle shock tests.
So
Which is
literally
really
the
bad.
Stern Guard and the Dreadnought are the only 2 units who are not battle shocks.
Correct. Everything else failed. The real disaster, like here, it's not so bad because I had a feeling you're going to knock me off the point anyway, so that's okay. I'm still sad, but now it means I can't Overwatch and kill this guy for free. So that is indeed quite a bummer, as the youth say. This is the real disaster over here. Not being able to use strats on them is a whole different problem in its own right. But now I don't control it, which we'll have to go through the rules a little bit later just to double check. But I'm kind of worried that.
I think your next command phase it wears off and then you'll hold that point.
I think that is correct. So I think I'll be okay. I'll be fine. But yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. I'm really sad.
Right, I'm going to take my movement phase and then we'll let you know how it goes. Right, so I am now going to, I just finished my movement phase. I'm just going to talk you through that. I pushed up the Psychophage. He's just pushing down this flank. Don't really know what his plan is. He's just having a great time there, hanging out on his own.
I feel like I've heard that before.
He's a bit threatening though. And talk about threatening, I did deep strike in some termagants down in this corner. They're going to be getting me engaged. And they might even try a cheeky little charge on that librarian there just to
And charge, yeah.
steal his point. Yeah, it's a 9-incher. I don't know if I bother even trying to re-roll it, but it would be quite funny to take you off your back point. Over here, I moved up Malamar, or the Neurotyrant, his proper name. He's going to do some psychic flaming of these guys. He's going to ignore the cover. Sam was waiting expectantly for me to move the Screamer Killer because I think he's got Overwatch in his mind because he kept saying to me, "Oh, let me know when you move that Screamer Killer." So
I did say it like 8 times.
I played into his mind game. I didn't move him, so he can't Overwatch. And my plan is in the shooting phase, the unit that I think he's planning to Overwatch him with, which is the Dreadnought, I'm going to shoot him with my Screamer Killer. And if I hit him, he'll have to take a battle shock test at -1, and if he fails it, he won't be able to do Overwatch, which would be lovely.
Yeah, I would much prefer to Overwatch with the Dreadnought, but if I have to Overwatch with something else, I'll probably have to pick the Stern Guard vets, but I want those big guns.
I'm just trying to spread out all the way over the board because I'm trying to go for engage this turn, and just to, going for a bit of like threat overload now. Just trying to give him lots of things to deal with, and if I can do well over here into these flamer dudes, I think life is going to be good. If my Screamer Killer can survive and get into combat with them, hopefully it's going to be some nicely diced
Yeah, I think
Infernus Marines.
before your shooting phase begins, maybe we have to take you down to a little convenience store and buy you a mop, because you're going to be mopping me up quite soon.
I don't know, I got to roll well. Anyway, let's see how the shooting phase goes, and we'll come back to you soon.
So what just happened?
Alright,
So, I've not finished my shooting phase yet, but we had to pause it to tell you Sam is not loving the old battle shock.
so, my initial thoughts on Battle Shock were like, wow, this is a really cool mechanic. I'm so excited they brought this into the game. Woo! And now it is completely ruining my existence.
The Screamer Killer shot the Dreadnought. All he needed to do was hit him, and then he didn't do any wounds. But Sam had to roll the battle shock test for the Dreadnought at a -1. He rolled a double 1. His Dreadnought is battle shock, cannot Overwatch.
I slow rolled a double 1. It was double humiliating. Yeah, so this has gone pretty south, but I suppose this is what makes the game fun. Back and forth, back and forth.
And I still have some termagants who are going to shoot your librarian who's in the building.
But I'm angry.
So let's
Inside.
get back to that.
My soul
and
is
we'll
on
let
fire.
you know. We'll let you know at the end of the turn what happens.
And
Right, so I just finished my turn 3.
yes.
And it was all right. It was, as turns go, the termagants over here failed their charge, but not too bothered because they're in that table corner. They're being annoying.
Yeah, they're going to get you some good secondary points.
They are, they help me get engaged, and Sam has to deal with them. Otherwise, they're going to run onto his back point, so that they could be annoying. Screamer Killer over here ended up charging the Infernus Marines. He killed. There were 2 squads. There was a squad of 4 and a squad of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were actually 2 squads of 2 that were left.
Yes, there were originally 4 and you killed 2 in shooting, and there was 2 squads of 2, and you charged them with your big Screamer Killer.
And he decided to split his attacks between the 2 squads, rolling sustained hits, One of the squads, he just killed both of them. The other squad, Sam rolled like a god on his saves, and he didn't
time.
kill any of them. So there's 2 Infernus Marines still surviving on
I
this
had a
board.
chance to crack back with some close combat weapons, which are basically functionally useless against something with a 2-up save. But with all those rerolls, I had some hopes of maybe dishing out one singular wound, but alas, it wasn't to be.
So the Infernus Marines and the Biologists are here now locked in combat, but of course on your turn, if you wanted to, you could pop your tactical, your doctrine and fall back and shoot, so it's not going to be too much of an issue. Overall, I'm quite happy with the turn. Like, let's see what I score. So I get 3 for defending my stronghold. It's well defended over here, and I got 5 points for engage because we're doing tactical. I got an extra point. I'm in 4 table quarters, so that's really good. I'm really happy with scoring 8 points on that turn.
Yeah, I think choosing to not go with Assassinate was a good idea. Because
So-
even though this didn't work out, that was just... I think you thought about the maths well. It was just a bit unfortunate.
My worry was that he was going to get popped in Overwatch or something and not get to do anything, and that would have been terrible because then you could choose another target for Oath on your turn. Whereas now he's still pretty much the obvious target for Oath for another turn, which is nice. So hopefully he's going to draw some fire, which stops you from shooting other stuff, which is nice. So Screamer Killer's surviving until turn 3.
Yeah, that's
turn 3. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, I'm quite upset about that, which I suppose it reflects the nature of this game because it's competitive.
Talk about turn 3. Let's roll me up to 2. Let's roll you up to 3.
Yeah,
and you're going to begin. Oh, you're going to draw your second.
I'm going to draw my secondary. So over here, okay, we've got Secure No Man's Land. We have Storm Hostile Objective, and we have Bring It Down. So Bring It Down, I will be taking because I like killing big things. How effective I'll be at that is a bit tricky, so I might have to do that classic thing I've made classic and think about it for too long. Secure No Man's Land. If you control 2 objectives in No Man's Land, score VP. So that one seems pretty likely as well. If I fall back and, like you said, go into the Tactical Doctrine and pop this big guy, that could be really good. And Storm Hostile Objective is the same thing. If I take an objective that I didn't control...
Those 2 would seem to pair up nicely with each
all 3 of these are pretty good. This is one of those times where, like, you get, especially with the drawing 3 system, you get 3 good ones, and it's like, you don't really want 3 good ones. You want 2 good ones and one that's utter rubbish.
Yeah, because you could end up with one that is really hard to get next turn.
It's always a scary prospect how late game you can end up with some secondary. It's like if you can get into your opponent's deployment zone, you get 5 VP, but all you have left is a unit of Terminators that can move 3 inches.
So I played with you before, so I know you're going to take a little bit of time now to think about these secondaries, and then probably do your movement phase, do your command phase, your battle shock phase.
Yes,
of course, my favorite. And then we'll see what happens.
Indeed, I am slow, so I will take my time with this. All right, so just finished my movement phase. I have a great plan. I used to call these gambits, but now the gambits actually exist in the game. I can no longer call them gambits, so I must call them plans. So I decided to go with Bring It Down for my secondary, and I also decided to go with Storm Hostile Objective. This is a bit of a gamble. I almost said gambit again. It's a bit of a gamble because I'm moving off the central point with my Terminators. I'm moving them up. My plan here is to charge into these chaps here. I will then murk them. I'll then do a little dance.
Who's in that building?
The Barb Gods.
Yes.
There's only 2 of them left.
I will then dance a little jig in celebration after they die, and then I should be able to consolidate onto the point. I also fell back with my Infernus Marines, and Michael, what happened to them?
I overwatched and killed them.
Yes, simple.
Well, one of them died because he was battle shocked, and
yes,
then the other one died to my Overwatch.
Yes, and
so
one thing.
Just trying to thin out the Marines a little.
Yeah. However, this is these are happy days because my movement hasn't been restricted once. I have no more battle shocked units because he was kind enough to kill the one that was battle shocked, and I also I gave this guy Oath of Moment,
The Screamer Killer.
the Screamer Killer. So I'll be re-rolling everything into him. So all of these Storm Bolters are going to go into him and basically force you to make lots of 2-up saves. And then I'm also going to target this that big one monster over there. What is that one called?
That's the Psychophage.
Psychophage. Easy. I should know this by now. And I'm going to shoot the Psychophage probably with the Dreadnought and hopefully be able to polish him off as well, get some more points. As for these Termagants in the back, I knew that, don't worry about it. As for these Termagants in the back point, hopefully a combination of this guy's abilities and like shooting and melee, should be able to just either take them out or simply just stop them from getting onto the point and being a nightmare. I think I have enough shooting to do what I need to do.
You have dangerously moved your librarian and stern guard off the point, so it's just the dreadnought that's still on it.
Yes, in hindsight, now that I'm really thinking about it with this librarian, I probably should have left his base just about touching. But he only has OC1, so
Do you want to do that? You can do it if you want.
I don't think it actually makes a difference. If I'm unable to achieve what I want to achieve, I think it's not gonna, the only difference would be what is that Psychophage's OC?
Probably like 3. Let's have a look. He is OC3.
Yeah, so my Dreadnought is OC4, so I should be able to control that point no matter what. So I'll stick to what I'm doing, but I very much appreciate you being cool and giving me that option. Because
Allow takesy backsies.
yeah, nothing wrong with some friendly takesies backsies. But yeah, so I'm going to start shooting.
Yeah, I like your plan on this because the secondaries that you drew, like obviously the Terminators could have sat on the middle all game long, but with the secondaries that you drew, like storming this objective, trying to take it from me, that was the play. That was going to get you more points. So I really like that you went with that. Bring it down should be pretty easy, and you'll get what, 4 points.
For killing this one, I'll get 3 points. If I can kill that one as well, then I'm looking at 6 points.
So it could be a big turn of scoring for the Marines. So we'll let you know how the shooting phase goes very soon.
So I just finished my shooting phase, and yeah, it was a resounding success.
It was a very good shooting phase.
I finally killed the Screamer Killer. It died the death it deserved to have.
It was the devastating wounds from the assault cannon from the Terminators.
Yeah, it was, yeah. The Storm Bolters did absolutely nothing, but that's to be expected when you're, wounding on 6s. And
I was hoping to pop my Feel No Pain, but actually on further inspection, the stratagem that I'd used last turn to give him exploding 5s in combat cost 2 CP, not 1 CP. So I rolled myself down to 0, and I didn't have the CP this turn to do the Feel No Pain to keep him alive, which is a bit of a shame.
yes.
But he did soak up a lot of fire, but with the Terminators finishing him off, it meant that your Stern Guard could then target something else.
Yeah, and then that led to the Stern Guard being able to pump all of their shots into the Termagants, and I was able to kill 7. The Librarian also shot everything he had into them, and he did absolutely nothing.
But there was some more shooting from your Dreadnought, which I would describe as ballistering.
Yeah, he did everything I wanted him to do. I was able to do exactly enough damage to kill that large
So
monster.
there used to be a Psychophage over there, now there's just a Psychophage-shaped hole.
Yes.
Yes.
It was missiled.
Yes.
Actually, no, it was only las cannoned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you wasted all its other shots.
Yeah, because I didn't really do all that much to make it happen, but it was just enough damage. You didn't roll very well on your 5-up Feel No Pains this time.
No, but having this kind of like anti-tank shooting is really nice.
Yep.
Especially against these big monsters.
Yeah.
So he's only 170 points,
Yes, he's the cheapest of the Redemptor pattern dreadnoughts, which is surprising.
and he's got good range. He's all right. I don't know if you're going to see him in competitive lists, but he's a nice little unit, and
I like him.
He works well with Oath and Moment, although you didn't necessarily need that this turn because he gets to reroll hits against units which are
Above half starting strength.
yeah, which is really good.
Yeah, he's perfect for starting out a shooting phase, murdering, doing a bunch of damage to something, and then other things come in and finish him off. So, but it was still, it was good.
GW really toned down those rerolls, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they've really fixed it. Good job. That's right, we're cynical too. But yeah, so I'm going to do my charge phase now. I'm going to try and do my totally not a gambler.
Couple of big charges here. So can the Terminators reroll because of their captain?
Yes.
And so how long is the charge to charge these barb gaunts in the building?
It is not long. It is I believe that's a 3-inch charge.
Yeah, maybe 4 inches.
Maybe 4 inch, yeah. Yeah,
Alright, so roll it.
Yeah, just roll it right now. Here we go. Should be okay. Yeah, 5 inches.
It's a 5-incher.
I do have the ability to reroll, but I'm not a gambling man today. So yeah, so I'll be doing that. I'll move that.
Not a gambling man today. That's interesting.
I've already said I'm a gambling man like 6 times. I am a filthy liar.
So should we roll that other charge and then we'll move these two
Exactly.
because I don't have any CP to Overwatch.
Yeah, so I'll be charging those guys.
This is the Librarian charging the Termagants. He rolls a 7. Is
That-
that going to be enough?
I think it is
Yeah,
exactly enough.
That's exactly what he needed.
Now this guy will move on camera. Hiya! Easy.
And we'll let you know how the fight phase goes. I think it's going to be brutally short.
Yes. Okay, so that fight phase, that was a borderline waste of time. Actually, not necessarily, because the Librarian isn't all that great in melee. He looks good, but he ain't all that.
He just about killed the 3
Just about killed them, yeah. You just need 1 5-up save to perhaps force some type of issue, but alas, he managed to kill them all.
I feel like the rest of the Marines are going to be looking at him going, You really need that axe? I'm not that good with it.
Yeah. Are you sure you don't just want like a little, a spork?
But the Terminators exacted Sam's revenge on the Barb Gaunts, and then used that extra consolidation after they killed them, just to make sure that they taking control of this point. Which means you scored Storm Hostile Objective and bring it down. So how many points do you get for that?
5 VP, I believe.
5 for that one, and then for bring it down you got 6.
Yeah, so that's 11 for secondaries for the turn.
So a big scoring turn.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
And the NIDs, this is what you kind of find in this matchup. It's like as soon as like your big things go down, when I talk about the matchup, I mean the Leviathan box set. It can be kind of hard for the NIDs to recover. Like Sam still has a lot of killing power on the board. I think most of my killing power is now gone. So I'm going to try and jank my way to as many points as I can and see if we can keep this close. We're having a fun game anyway, obviously.
Yeah,
it's great.
absolutely.
This is awesome. 10th edition. Don't believe all the internet moaning. This is a great edition. As soon as
shut up, internet.
As soon as a couple of the problem children are sorted out, it's going to be amazing. Honestly, this is. I've been playing the game.
This is fun. The rules are clear.
I've been playing the game on and off since 2nd edition, and this is my favorite idea for how the missions operate. I would say,
a bit of randomization.
I don't love everything about the game, but I can see where it's going, and I think in a few months' time, this is going to be awesome. So, thanks for being along on the ride with us. 10th edition, Hezro Forge. We're going to be having loads more battle reports, so thank you for joining us for this one. We're going to keep on going. It's going to be my turn 4 coming up very, very soon. You know what? Let's draw my cards and see what I get.
I'll roll us up CP. You go up to 1.
I drew Storm Hostile Objective, which is going to be really hard because I'd have to take an objective from you.
Yeah.
But I also got Cleanse, which I can do sort of pseudo actions on points in order to get secondary points. And I can investigate signals, which is the old corner of the battlefield, what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, well, now's the time.
So I'm going to be probably keeping Cleanse and Investigate Signals.
Yeah.
And let's see how I can score them on my turn 4. For now, we'll let you know how my movement goes. Okay, so we're at that stage of the game now where I know I don't have the damage to really take him on in a fair fight, so I'm just going to try and get as many points as I can. So I took my Neuro Tyrant off the point to go into this corner. The point wasn't mine in the first place, but him coming over here means that he can scan in this corner, or what was it, investigate some signals.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, he just heard something, he was really interested, he wanted to go and check it out.
Malamar?
Meanwhile, these guys over here, these Rippers, they were investigating the signals over in this corner.
I didn't know Rippers could investigate signals.
They're really inquisitive. Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that.
Fun fact.
The Termagants were the real stars of this turn then, because they rolled a 6 on their advance, which meant they could advance onto the point. And they have assault weapons, which means that they are still eligible to shoot in the shooting phase, which means they can do an action. So they can actually advance and do an action. Really, really nice ability. So they came onto this point and they cleansed it. Now, I was initially going to cleanse with these guys, the Von Ryan's Leapers, but instead they came into the corner because they're investigating signals over here. So I'm actually investigating signals in 3 corners, which is 2 points per corner, so a nice 6 points, and 3 points from the Termagants, who are going to be cleansing this objective over here, which gets me 9 points. So didn't do any damage that turn, didn't do any shooting, didn't do any combat, but I scored 9 points, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that was really good.
And Sam, now you're just about to draw your secondaries.
Yes,
your turn
indeed.
4.
And would you mind rolling us up CP?
Absolutely, because neither of us spent any CP, so you're up to 4, and I am up to 2.
So I just got Cleanse, I got Deploy Teleport Homer, and I got Engage on all fronts. So these don't look so great for me. That's my initial thought. But as is tradition, I will now think for a hot minute and think about what on God's green earth I'm going to do.
You score 10 for your primary, which is nice.
Yep.
So let's see what you can score for secondary this turn.
Yeah.
The game is still fairly close in the points, even if it's not that close
Yeah.
on the table.
It's closer than one might think, actually. All right, we're back again. So we'll start off with the real highlight of this turn so far, which is that my secondaries were proper abysmal.
And you even used a CP, didn't you?
I even used a CP. So basically, these are the 4 that we're dealing with, and going through 4 secondaries in one turn is quite a lot. But this is what I got. So I got Deploy, Teleport, Homer, and Cleanse, and Engage in all fronts. Those were the initial 3. I discarded Engage in all fronts, and then
That was with the once per game stratagem to draw a new card.
and then I drew Behind Enemy Lines, which is somehow even worse. And then I basically had to discard that one. So I ended up with Cleanse and Teleport Homer, and the largest amount of points I can get here is 6. The way I was able to do that was actually with something pretty cool for Space Marines, which is they have a stratagem called Adaptive Strategy, where you can put any one of your units into one of the 3 doctrines. So I put my fastest unit, which is that Dreadnought, who's lumbering around the battlefield at speed. I put him into the Devastator doctrine so that he could advance and shoot. So just like Michael did in his last turn, because technically this guy basically now has assault weapons, so to speak, I was able to advance him up and then perform the action because he has the ability to shoot.
He's eligible to shoot, which is the key word which you need if you're going to be doing these pseudo actions now. So it's a really nice play from Sam to just try and maximize as many points as he could get. It's not worth tons of points, but having a unit on the centers, in this situation, it's not bad. It's not like I have stuff to kill him off it.
It's also just good, it's just good to like get up and maybe start chipping away some damage turn 5. See if it might make a difference with no prisoners or some other secondary. It's unlikely I'll be able to do anything, but it's worth a go.
And he ran pretty quickly, didn't he, when you won the advance? In fact, you could say it was a blistering pace.
We really need... oh boy. All
right, you're about to shoot poor old Neuro Tyrant over here.
Yep, I'm going to murk him. I'm going to kill that Pokemon.
And I'm going to spend a CP to give him the Feel No Pain.
All right. So I'm now going to shoot him with a bunch of bolters and do diddly squat. But then I'll punch him to death. I like Space Marines. Okay, so just finished my turn. That was about 5 minutes.
Nice and quick.
Yeah. I basically charged into, I don't know his real name, so I'm going to keep calling him Malamar.
He's the Neuro Tyrant.
The Neuro Tyrant.
But feel free to call him Malamar at home. Pokemon fans will know what I'm talking about.
I bet it looks nothing like him.
It actually quite looks like him. You said further the other
They're the same colours.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough, fair enough.
Crazy.
Anyways, Pokemon aside, because we're not here to play Pokemon, I murdered Malamar quite comfortably. Michael used 5 Feel No Pain, but I think with Oath of Moment and Power Fists and...
I saved it. I was going to use it in shooting and then I saved it for combat. It was a waste of time, but there's not much else for me to spend my CP on at this point in the game. Sam just destroyed him with that Terminator unit. That Terminator unit is incredibly strong.
It's perhaps, it outmatches anything else in the box.
Yeah, it's amazing, amazing models. Wait till you get these models in your hands. If you're a Space Marine fan, you're gonna absolutely adore these Terminator models.
And the captain is something special. But we could rant about these things for hours.
But in this kind of game, the Terminators are super strong. But they're kind of slow and they're sort of stuck out there. Now, this game is still super close. In terms of the board, Sam has beaten back the Tyranid threat.
Yes.
But the Tyranids could still score big on this last turn.
Yeah, if you get the right secondaries, ones that are perhaps based around actions and that encourage you not to move into the middle, you could be good.
So I'm going to get 10 for my primary, and I'm going to be drawing 3 cards, and then I still have a CP where I could discard one of these and get a new one. So,
indeed.
Okay.
So, not good.
Not great at all.
Some might say kind of bad. I think secure no man's land. Did you get anything?
I need to control 2 or more in no man's land, so that's going to be.
So that was important.
The center objective is not going to happen, I don't think. So that was a no-go. No prisoners is also a no-go. Behind enemy lines. So no prisoners, just I have to kill a unit, but I'm not in range to kill anything.
Yeah.
So these are really bad.
This is
really extremely bad.
But this is why you kept your CP, right? So you can...
So I'm going to chuck back behind enemy lines, and I'm going to draw another secondary. Area denial.
Looks a little bit
the end of my turn, if 1 or more units from my army are wholly within 6, and there's no enemy units wholly within 6 of the center, I score 5.
Okay.
So you're not wholly within 6 with your dude, are you?
I am not wholly within 6.
But again, can I get onto that objective in the middle? I don't think I can even if I advance to my termagants.
I think
I don't think they can.
Yeah.
These guys move 10. But again, I don't think they can. That's the way it goes. When half your army's been decimated, it is going to get harder to score certain secondaries. Unfortunately, no prisoners, being able to kill something.
Yeah.
I just don't have the things to kill anything. Securing no man's land, I'd need to hold 2 points. Not going to happen. And the area denial, It doesn't. So the second rider is like if there's one or more enemy units wholly within 6, but there's no enemy units within 3, and it doesn't talk about one or more of my units wholly within 6. So maybe I can get 3 points for that.
Okay.
For you not being wholly.
It's not bad for you getting points because I am not somewhere.
Yeah, but I'm not going to score any of the others, so I'll keep area denial and
toss
no prisoners.
In case I charge your lights.
But basically, on my turn, all I'm going to do is move these Von Ryan's Reapers up into this corner of the building. So I have 2 things.
I think your best bet's probably to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then.
Then
I think, do you know what we can do? We can really speed play this at this point.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead.
So
and
I score 3 for my secondaries,
Mhm.
and then what do you get for your secondaries?
Overwhelming force, capture enemy outpost, and area denial. So area denial looks pretty good for me.
Yeah, you just move your dreadnought into the middle, and you get 5.
Overwhelming force. If I can kill one of your units that's on a point, I could get him, but I don't think I have enough firepower. So nothing to be concerned about. And I'm never capturing your outpost, so let's just toss that in the bin where it belongs. So yeah, basically area denial is the only one I think that matters here.
What you could do is you could move your dreadnought onto the middle and just try to kill off some termagants, I guess. If you can kill, you have a blast weapon, right?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
And do the Stern Guard have range on the termagants?
24 maybe? I think we'll just do the moving phase and see how it goes.
Just play and see, because we're playing to see how many points we can actually score here. So.
Yeah, that is the nature of the game.
Nice.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right, awesome, Sam. We just finished your turn 5, and it was a good one for you.
Yeah, secondaries were kind. I got overwhelming force and area denial. Area denial is one that cares about me being in the middle and keeping stuff out of there. Overwhelming force, I got points for killing a unit on an objective he was controlling. Fortunately, I rolled just well enough to kill your unit of
the
Termagants?
termagants. I had a unit of termagants that were on that back point. You didn't kill me off the point because my Von Ryan's Leapers were hiding behind the wall. Yeah. But because you killed that unit of termagants, that got you the 3 points for killing a unit that I had on an objective. Yeah. And then the area denial was easy. You're already on the middle. Yeah. So you were able to get 8 on your secondaries. Yes. Which was telling. Because the final scores of this game, and we're both going to look pretty good after this, Sam. Yeah, I know. We both scored pretty high. Yeah. We both maxed primary, but on secondary, you got 38, I got 30. We both get the painting bonus, thanks to Jan. Beautiful job with the painting there.
Very much so.
And so the final score is 90 to the Tyranids, but a hugely impressive 98 to Sam and the Space Marines. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You played an amazing game. I'm going to sound like a basketball player after you just won a game. I want to thank my mom, my dad, etc. But I think what it came down to is I think there is a slight imbalance of power levels between the 2 armies in this box set. Even though the Tyranids have way more models, I think if you wanted to make this a bit more of a fair matchup, you might need perhaps one more big Tyranid monster or some more small, middle-sized units that can do a bit more work offensively. Because I have a lot left.
Yeah, if you were using points to balance these forces, the Tyranids need, I think it's like another 300 points or so to make it fair. And they really do need something that can deal with the Terminators and the Space Marines at range.
Yes,
so
that's what I was thinking.
If you're hoping to play this battle at home, like the Space Marines have the advantage, so you might want to think about getting the Tyranids another couple of units just so that it's a more even forces on the battlefield. But in terms of actually how the game played and how the missions went, I enjoyed going first. It's a shame that I wasn't able to get my secondaries on turn 1. I think that probably was the difference in the end. Yes. The kind of the dud draws. Yeah. But that's what happens when you play tactical objectives. Like there were also times when we benefited hugely from the cards that we got. Absolutely. It keeps the game moving. It keeps it feeling fresh and fun.
Yeah. No more building lists with 3 precise secondaries in mind for every single game you play, no matter the circumstance.
The fact that this game came down to at the end the cards that we drew on the last turn, that's fantastic. That's what more can you ask for from a game of 40k? And this was an awesome battle report. I just want to say thank you to Jan. Thank you for GW China again for helping to make this happen.
Thank you.
This is not going to be the last battle report you'll see on Hezro Forge. We're going to have lots more battle reports coming up for you in the not too far distant future.
Yep. I look forward to bringing some of our own models instead of only playing with Jan's beautiful ones. You can see some of my fantastic paint jobs.
And if you followed this video through to the end, we just want to say a huge thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting the channel.
Please like, subscribe.
Everything
the real
that Jan is
subscribe
doing here. Yeah, we don't need to do that. But everything that obviously Jan is establishing here in Nanjing in China, like we really appreciate the support of everybody all around. The community has been amazing. Like I know that's something that Jan really wants to show his appreciation for. So thank you for your support. Thank you for following Hezro Forge, and we'll see you soon.
Let's keep this growing.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe one day you could be playing your army here in the Plasma Dome or at the Forge. But for now, thank you so much for joining us for 10th edition 40k. Sam, congratulations. Well done. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
I'm going to pitch in quickly and say thank you very much to Burrows, Michael Burrows, and thank you very much to Sam. They did all the work to learn how to play these armies. They learned all the rules. I was way too busy painting, so I couldn't do it myself. They were happy to step in and deliver this first battle report. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
guys.
just thank God he didn't ask me to paint anything.
Cheers.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Back to the studio.
Hell yeah.
Back to the studio.